Well, I have no doubt that we'll have plenty to say. But before we begin, any pre-comments for the movie? Midsommar, is the movie that we're going to watch.
Yes.
We're actually recording this before we began to watch it.
I was in no hurry to see it.
Okay.
But in the last couple days, people we know have seen it.
Now,
and we've got a few different people wanting to know what we thought of it.
Let me clarify that, because this was something that you were very anxious to see initially when we heard it was from the folks that brought us Hereditary and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we heard things that gave us pause, made us maybe decide not to make it a family movie.
Well, anytime something comes out and everyone is like, oh, it isn't what, we thought, it was horrible, and other people are like, you guys are stupid, it was genius, and there was so much fighting and stuff, I kind of lost interest in it, all the drama that was surrounding it.
Okay.
Our nephew works at a movie theater, and as everyone was coming out of the movie theater, everyone was complaining it was horrible, and they hated it, and it was gross, and it was just whatever. So I was like, oh, that's... I kind of...
Well,
I don't listen to what people say about movies, because a lot of times, to us, like, it's not right. I mean, you have to be your own judge, right?
Right.
But the way that it sounded, everyone coming out of the movie theater, everyone agreeing, oh, that was horrible, I was like, it made me not as excited about it. And I thought, well, I'm in no hurry, we're just going to wait. And then it was one of those I just kind of forgot about.
And the other thing, like I said, it may have initially been a family affair. We thought we were going to go with your sister, and it was going to be well, it's always hard to say it's a good time watching horror movies, but if you listen to this podcast, you know what I mean. It's a good time watching horror movies.
Yeah.
And it turned out that
she always comes in from out of town.
Maybe it wasn't going to be that.
And stays for a week, and we watch a lot of horror movies while she's here with us.
Right.
So you were going to treat us. We were going to spend a lot of money, actually, and go to the movie theater. And I think that was why we didn't go.
Right, because we didn't want to spend a lot of money on something that was maybe iffy.
I was all hopped up to go, and then my bubble was burst. So it was like, you're going to pay for 3 of us to get into a movie theater. And, well, we're poor, so... Yeah, I didn't want to waste it on something that everyone was going to come out griping about.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I wanted to come out...
So now, are you excited now that we're sitting down to see it?
No.
Just indifferent? You're indifferent?
I'm totally indifferent. That's why we...
You know what? That's the best way to go in.
Yes.
Now that we've lowered our expectations back into a neutral position.
Right.
We will watch Midsommar and tell you what we thought. The heck is that?
The future of music.
I don't think that was a balloon, but it did sound a bit like one. We are rolling, by the way. I'm not sure if it...
I had no idea.
I'm not sure the MP3 player caught that, but that was a crazy, crazy sound.
Welcome to the Vicis Interimo 30 Minutes to Kill podcast.
You are listening to the Vicis Interimo show, 30 Minutes to Kill. More or less. The incredible podcast with the unpronounceable name.
Welcome to Vicis Interimo, the awesome podcast with the unpronounceable name. You are joining us for episode number 384. Well, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it the way that it's spelled here. Midsommar, I guess. Close enough. Midsommar is what it would actually be in English, I guess.
No.
No?
What are you looking at? Spell that.
M-I-D. S-O-M. M. A-R.
Okay. Well, your dyslexia is showing because you pronounced it with an N in there. Sumnar, I think you said.
Maybe.
Okay.
Midsommar?
It's Midsommar. Good enough.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
You're not Swedish. You don't have to pronounce it correctly.
Okay.
You have trouble pronouncing English words, so
Exactly.
you better just stop.
Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Anyhow, welcome to Vicis Interimo. I am your host, Michael Mad Saxon Jones, with my lovely wife and co-host, Lori. Hi, Lori.
Hello.
We generally have 4 segments each show. We have our Laid to Rest, where you tie up any loose ends from previous episodes, like It Chapter 2, which was our most recent previous episode. We then talk about a movie. This time it's Midsommar. Anyhow,
Please stop it.
and then we have our Garbage In, Garbage Out, where we talk about, this time, something other than Skyrim. And we end with a crawling
What the heck?
something we've never talked about on the show before. Sometimes silly, sometimes serious, most always chaotic. Just like this intro. And having said that, I'm just going to glaze right through this after we hear the gunshots.
Portions of this podcast are made possible through the patronage of great people like At Lonely Bob, Big Albie, and Goldafish. Since we are trying to grow our podcast in every way possible, even if you can't be a patron, you can still help us grow by liking, commenting, and subscribing to the podcast.
Anything to tie up about it, or me solving that Rubik's Cube, or It Chapter 2, I should be more specific?
I don't think I have anything to add or amend.
Yeah? Okay.
Do you?
No, I don't think so. I don't really think there's anything else to cover.
You're still working on that Rubik's Cube, I noticed.
Well, that's because I messed it up again.
Started over.
Started over, yes.
You were supposed to solve the 2x2 I got you.
Oh, I'll save that for another time.
Did I get around to it?
Hadn't got around to that yet. Had plenty of
Alright.
things going on in the meantime.
Okay.
I will actually bring up the fact that the other project that I'm working on, of course, is Tybbalt's Apprentice, which is Magic the Gathering related, and I've talked about that before on here. So I got a chance to do an interview with David from Budget MTG Decks, which was absolutely awesome. It's great that Sweden works out with, did I say Sweden?
Yeah, because you're thinking of Midsommar still. I was going to make a joke and say, why didn't you ask him how to pronounce Midsommar? But he's in Amsterdam, and he's also from here, so...
Well, I'm not sure he's from here, but he's not from there, but anyhow, this is just going all kinds of wrong. But anyhow, what I was going to say, between Amsterdam and here, he was getting home at 7 o'clock, I was waking up at 10 o'clock, it worked out just beautifully. Yeah.
That's good.
That's awesome. Okay, moving on.
He has a successful YouTube channel.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I'm envious. Moving on, let's talk about this movie.
All right.
So we recorded a small bit before. I'm not sure where I'm going to fit that in, about what we expected before we sat down to watch it.
Yes.
Did your... Well, what do you think? What did you think about the movie?
Just in general?
Just in general.
Or you want me to... Yeah, when were you going to put that on it? Because we discussed a little bit about what we were expecting, or
going into
what we were...
Exactly, yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't... The blogs that I read, people grossly exaggerated, I feel.
Yes.
It was nowhere near as... I'm just going to say bad. Bad, whether you want bad or not bad. I mean, not bad as in the movie was bad.
Yeah.
Bad as in graphic content or
I think
gross stuff or...
It
wasn't that bad.
It was a perfect example of why you don't listen to other people's feedback on movies.
Right.
Except ours. Because, okay, That's maybe stretching it a little
bit. Do you think we're really accurate or realists?
I don't know whether we are or not. But sort of. I mean, we try to be fair and open-minded and so on, and I don't think... It's interesting to me that what I heard about the movie, what I both heard about the movie, and what I read a little bit because I still tried to avoid everything that I could on here as much as I could. Like you said, a lot of things felt or sounded grossly exaggerated.
Yeah.
And each person got something different about it. So we're talking about the movie without having the synopsis. So that was just our general opinion. So yes, we both felt that the movie was grossly misrepresented. Yeah. Is that a fair statement to say?
Yes.
Okay.
But of course we talked about just...
A couple travels to Sweden to visit a rural hometown's fabled Midsommar festival. What begins as an idyllic retreat quickly devolves into an increasingly violent and bizarre competition at the hands of a pagan cult.
Okay. Where are you reading this from?
IMDb. I'm going to cut this part right here. COMPEN, excuse me, damn it. COMPETITION.
Yeah, competition.
Okay, I thought I was reading it right.
It wasn't a competition, though.
To be the May Queen, she was. But
that's not what they're... That's so
terrible stuff.
Yeah.
So, yes, that synopsis, then, was gleaned from a terrible review of IMDb.
Okay.
They tried to sum it up in a couple of lines, and that's where they went with it.
Yeah, it sounds like they went there and there was some sort of competition, which that was just a fraction of everything that was going on, and that only involved one character.
Right.
It's not like our poor American. Can't call them heroes, can you?
No, you can't, and that's one of the issues, one of the things that I had with this. But we'll get to this first. So.
I don't know where to start with this thing.
Okay. It's more than a couple that travel to Sweden.
Yes.
It's a group of friends and acquaintances. We never really got to know everybody, but there were different levels of friendship.
Well, that kind of didn't matter.
Well,
okay.
to me
They were college students.
Yeah.
The girl had dropped out for a while. She
Yep.
had something bad happen in her life that took her away from school for a while.
Yeah.
And this is from the guy who did Hereditary, so just saying.
Where do you want to go with that? What constitutes spoilers here? This is the top.
We'll just stop right there.
Okay.
We'll just say that opening scene,
Okay.
emotionally draining.
Okay.
Which is good. I like to feel something when I watch movies, and boy, did I feel something.
Okay.
So we've got her, and then we have her boyfriend.
Right.
They've been together 3 or 4 years.
3 years is what they said, yeah.
4.
Well.
Get it right. You're such a guy. 4.
Yeah.
So they're the relationship's a little stale. The guy, he's kind of wanting to break up with her. This isn't a spoiler because you see this in the trailer.
Yeah.
I knew all of this going into it. I'm not sure you did.
I didn't really know.
Okay, well now we'll say there were 2 different spoilers. One that just showed the friends there, and one that showed the couple's problems and their issues and how they get there. So I felt like, okay, I knew all of this already.
Okay.
My sister, who, not the one who's watched it already, but the one who's going to watch it, possibly today. I might be hearing from her later on. Yes, she picked it up at Redbox.
Oh my gosh.
So, she did not see the trailer where it showed the couple.
Okay.
So she's got no idea the drama between that, because it's very much a relationship movie. And a lot of people had no idea, and my sister has no idea, so I can't wait to see what she thinks of all of that.
Okay.
But I'm sorry, you were talking about them being friends. Because there was the boyfriend,
right,
and then his 2 close friends, they're all in school together, and then this year at school, or maybe the last couple of years, they got to know a foreign student who happens to be from Sweden, and that just happens to be his hometown. And hey, why don't you guys come back with me for the summer?
You're anthropology students. Come and enjoy.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I feel like it's 3 very good friends.
Okay.
And then you've got the tag-along friend that they met that they don't know super well.
Right.
And then enter the girlfriend.
Right, who also goes with them.
Yeah.
On the
And of
trip.
course the other guys are like pushing their friend to dump her before they go.
Right.
Because they just want to go and have a guy thing, you know.
Yeah.
But so that's our beginning.
Okay. That's the beginning.
Yeah. It's not our ending.
No. So you said you felt something, but I felt things in degrees, and I'm gonna sound. It's gonna sound terrible, but like I'm not sure. Well, I told you this already. We normally don't discuss these things, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I felt bad for anybody in the movie, but
Okay.
I felt bad for everybody, but I didn't. Like, I don't know. I didn't connect with any of these characters
Well,
deeply.
I don't think. I'm kind of thinking you weren't supposed to.
Okay. Well, mission
Possibly-
accomplished.
Possibly, the girl's name was Danny. Possibly with Danny, only because she goes.
Maybe that's your sister calling.
It is.
Awesome. Tell her we're talking about her.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Hello.
Yes, we finished the movie.
Oh my gosh! And you're
Is
actually
that why you're laughing?
well.
Why you're laughing?
We're recording the podcast, so you are being recorded. We could always edit this out if you don't want to be on there. But we were just talking about that you were possibly going to watch it.
We watched it.
Yeah. Without giving spoilers, what did you think?
Okay, do you want both of our opinions?
Sure.
Sure.
Absolutely.
My daughter thought it was the boringest movie ever.
Okay.
By getting everybody else's opinion, I think I was expecting way more and way crazier, and I was
Yes.
like, okay, that was just, like, not near what
Right.
I was expecting it to be.
Right. Exactly.
It was.
It was just weird and a little off, and, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I can say.
Okay.
The scenes weren't... Weird. Weird, okay. Yeah, weird, but not as bad as everybody says. I don't understand why people would actually walk out of the theater.
Right.
I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, it says, unless they were totally bored with the movie. So,
Huh.
Well, these people weren't bored.
Okay.
They were coming out complaining, right? Isn't that what Derek said?
yeah.
Well, those
They were.
are the people.
complained. They said it was too weirdo for them. You know, like too crazy.
Yeah. And those were people who made it.
But
They made it all the way to the end, though. Those were people that were coming out after the movie, right? They sat through the whole thing.
I'm not 100% sure. A couple
Yeah.
people walked out. A couple people talked about it when they came out.
Well, I gotta say that scene that we're not doing spoilers because, of course, we're this is all being
Right.
recorded. The one big gory scene. After
Okay.
that happened, I already knew there wouldn't be any more stuff like that because our other sister had seen it. She was afraid at that gory scene, you know, the scene I'm talking about. She was really scared that that's what the movie was going to be like. So she watched the next, you know, few scenes or part of the movie kind of scared that it was going to do more of that kind of stuff. So if you're sitting in a movie theater and you don't like that kind of stuff and you see that on the big screen, it might traumatize you enough to make you leave. You know? I'm thinking some people probably thought, oh my gosh, what am I watching? I don't like this. And probably were not willing to stick around to see if there was going to be more gore.
Possibly, but to me, with the movies these days, sadly, that was like almost nothing. I mean, I didn't...
Oh,
I didn't do
interesting.
whatever, and it was just
Okay.
another movie to me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Walking Dead, all this stuff with all this stuff, you know.
That's true.
I wasn't emotionally attached to the characters where, oh my God.
I was just saying that right now. I was just trying to articulate that.
There, I don't know.
That's hilarious. Yeah, we literally were just talking about that when you rang us. He was just saying he was not attached to any of the characters, so it was kind of hard to care. I said maybe the girl to a certain extent because she'd had this traumatic thing happen in her life, so I just felt very bad for her.
Anyone cared about a different character, or just thought it was
I didn't care about
what happened at the end, but disappointed. Maybe she was a little disappointed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't really say that either.
Okay.
So
right.
But anyway, to me, it was a movie, and it wasn't. Yeah, I couldn't get emotionally attached to anybody to where I felt anything totally.
Right.
No. There was a weird scene that was kind of weird, but you know.
Yeah.
Like I said, society these days, it's like just another movie.
Right.
There you go, guys.
All right.
Enjoy.
Thanks for checking in with us.
Yeah, that was such perfect timing. That was great. We'll have to do this more often. We'll have
chuckling, so I'm like, oh, they must know why I'm calling.
Yeah.
Oh.
I had just told him, just a few minutes ago, I told him that you were watching it. So, yeah, when the phone rang, he was teasing and said, oh, maybe that's her and she's done watching it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna continue our podcast, and I'll talk to you in a little while.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye. That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
So, okay, that's coming from someone who's not super huge on tons of horror stuff.
Right.
I mean, she wasn't traumatized then.
No.
And that's funny. She said the gore was like, it wasn't anything worse.
I mean,
than...
it was for the scenes that were in there.
Yeah.
They were intense and bad, but it wasn't so...
Yeah.
What we talked about it before, what we hate to see most is the torture of innocence.
Yeah.
That's upsetting to me in a movie and whatever.
Yeah.
Or cruelty to animals.
Right.
So it didn't exactly contain that. But
I was going to say it is too bad since we don't do spoilers because I would love to talk about that. We were scared. I was scared of either of those two things you just mentioned.
Right.
Arguably, or one of those things sort of happened.
Everything is on a spectrum, so there's different levels of it and stuff, so it didn't lean too heavily into those things that we find distasteful.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Yeah.
That sounded good anyway.
Sure.
I will say that I am glad that we watched it at home. I'm not sure how I would have felt. That's one of my notes right here on the first notes on here and stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, it's my second note, but because my first note was like Ativan. I wanted to know what she was taking and why.
Right.
But the fact that I was, I want to say, able to laugh at inappropriate parts, that it makes me sound like a horrible person. But, you know, you and I were here. There's certain things that come up and stuff, and sometimes just laughing is an involuntary response, and so on. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes
you and I are getting worse at that, I think.
We're finding dark humor and laughing at those things and so on. But
I mean, not in the same way that I remember when The Exorcist got popular again about 15, 20 years ago, and a lot of people were seeing it for the first time and thinking it was so lame, and they laughed through the whole thing. It's not that kind of laughing or that kind of humor. People just thought that looked stupid or funny, or it still scares the crap out of me. That's still one of my, So it's not that kind. We're not laughing at
others' misfortunes and so
inappropriate.
It's just certain dark humor.
I don't know. I think it's in there. I think they put it in there for you to find, and if you're paying attention, you'll find it funny.
Okay.
That's what I think.
I think the best
especially
way to...
especially with this guy.
Yes.
Though
there is a breakdown, and maybe I'll either try to find the link he actually breaks down the trailer and stuff, not the movie itself.
Who does?
I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but the writer, producer, director, or whatever. He actually breaks down his own movie, his own movie trailer. And I'll try to find that
His
link to
name
put in the
is
show.
pronounced exactly how it looks.
Well, that does no good
That
for me.
doesn't help you.
That does not help me at all.
Things look backwards to you, so never
Sometimes,
mind.
yes. So, getting back on track.
Yes.
Because we're all over the place here. The movie wasn't nearly as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad. I wouldn't... Watching it in a theater, a crowded theater, even a quiet theater, would have been an experience. I like the fact that you and I at home could enjoy and talk through those pieces that we need to or wanted to or whatever.
Well, it's also longer than heck.
Yes,
so
that's true too.
I'd have never made it to, without a bathroom break at the theater.
Okay.
I'd have never made it.
Yeah. And it's what's so fascinating to me was though how each person that didn't like it or took from it a very specific portion that they didn't like.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Again, it's hard to dance around not doing spoilers and stuff. I'll just say it, and you tell me if it's going too far, and we'll have to edit it.
Okay.
So some people just focused on the relationship portion of it.
Right.
And said, this is a blah, blah, blah movie.
Yeah.
And other people just focused on...
Well, the writer said it's a relationship movie. It's definitely about the couple.
But I mean the people that were picking it apart and didn't like it.
Yeah.
Didn't like specifically that. Other people didn't like the gore and...
and there's an adult content scene in there, we'll just say.
Oh, well, okay, that was going to be my next thing. So aside from the gore, then there was this other element, this other physical element.
That was one of the blogs I read. This guy, he was really upset about the sex scene in there. And I'm not going to say how he described it, because we try to keep this a PG-13 sort of family show. But the way he described it, that was not what I saw.
That is not what I saw either, and I was totally waiting for that part.
I was ready for something really uncomfortable and awkward.
Really graphic and
not that it was so, I mean, we kind of giggled a little bit, you know. I don't know if it probably wasn't supposed to be funny, but it was like, oh, geez, you know, I kept waiting for it to get worse.
Yes, and more intense or whatever. And
it just got silly there at the end.
Climax? Okay, yes.
You're going to say that, and I thought that was a poor taste.
Okay. So, at any rate, it's just funny. So I will use the example, and we should probably get back on track here or whatever, but I will quickly use the example of a friend, an acquaintance, was highly offended at Watchmen.
Oh.
Because Dr. Manhattan
doesn't wear pants.
Is au natural.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to me that to some people, certain things are highly offensive.
Yeah.
And
so the nudity would be really too
much for some people. And so it's just very interesting because again, now we go back to the anthropological part of this.
Yes.
And that was you and I love learning about other cultures. Mm-hmm. But as an anthropologist, which I'm not, but you know, I know that you're supposed.
I have a minor in anthropology.
You should stay objective. And so I think that you and I could, up to a point, at least I could up to a point, stay objective about certain things and just step back and watch it that way. And this comes up in the movie too, because a couple of they are students. You already mentioned that. And so...
well, did you notice the... I'm sorry, you want to say what the scene was, sort of?
Which one?
Oh, well, I thought it was the scene that... because all of our students... And the two young people from London, I don't know whether or not they were students.
Yeah, we don't know.
But that was going to be my point, though. We have our 4 people that went... Mm-hmm. Who were anthropology students. I don't know what Danny's major was. It didn't really
psychology.
matter.
It did. She said she's psychology.
That's right, because she said something about being crazy herself.
Yeah. That's how you knew she was a psychologist.
Yeah. Hey, wait. I have a degree in psychology.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
I wasn't going to point that out.
See, these were my people. They should have been. Anthropology
They
and
should have been, and we
psychology.
should have. I wish I had connected more with them.
Yeah.
But
I don't think you were supposed to.
Okay.
Oh, but so my point was, I think what you were starting to say was that, so basically they brought in 6 outsiders. 4 are the students, and then the other 2 they picked up in London. And when they witnessed one of this group's traditional
Rituals?
that was rather disturbing, which I'm thinking is probably the scene that made people walk out early. While everybody was visibly upset, the anthropology students didn't freak out as bad. Actually,
Right.
one of them wasn't there, was he?
Nope.
He was off taking a nap.
Yep.
But he was like, "Oh, you let me miss that." But he was just a horrible person. But it was like, oh, okay. The other 2, the couple from London, were like, "We're out of here."
Yeah, so it makes me think that they weren't necessarily.
Yeah. But it goes back to what you were saying. If you are a student of anthropology, or you are an anthropologist, or you are somewhere observing someone else's culture, you have to try not to get upset if you see something that doesn't fit with what you're used to.
Right.
It might look horrible. It might look cruel. It might look crazy. You're not there to judge. You're there to just observe, record, and you just got to deal with it.
It's a fascinating and awkward place to be in.
Yeah.
Because I think about, and this is so ridiculous to tie these other things in, but, that prime directive in Star Trek.
Yes.
How many times did that get overlooked and completely abused and completely, and it's a hard place, but I mean, that's part of being humans, that's part of being of this global community and stuff that we are too. So I think it brings up some fascinating questions and things to talk about.
There's a ton of stuff to talk about from this movie. I mean, we could do a 10-part series on it probably, which we're not.
Well, we won't.
Because are we even focusing on the... I mean, did we get to the...
Have we even got to the heart of the matter? I guess because what it comes down to when we talk about these, and the reason we do avoid spoilers, is because generally speaking, we're here to recommend to talk about the movie in generalities, and then leave up to you to make up your mind whether you would watch this or not.
Yeah.
I think that absolutely watching this in your own home is the way to go.
Yeah.
And then you can turn it off if it becomes too intense. You can fast forward if it becomes too graphic.
You heard our niece in the background yelling that it was
the most boring movie ever.
Boring. Yeah.
And I think if this is the most, if any of this sounds boring or it is boring to you, don't watch it.
Yeah.
Because this is atmosphere.
I mean, yes.
It absolutely is.
And like we said, it's over 2 hours. 2 hours, 40 minutes?
Something
or
like that.
2.5 hours, something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not nonstop excitement every minute. There's a lot of just walking around talking about
2 hours, 27 minutes is what IMDb listed at.
Okay, so 2.5 hours, pretty
Even,
much.
I'm surprised IMDb actually gave it a 7.3.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it was that high. I would think that it would be lower.
I don't generally look at those.
I never really
so
do either. But
who?
That was just their rating.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyhow.
That isn't from people on IMDb logging in and rating it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what it is.
I have no idea.
Anyhow. Sorry.
Okay, so how'd you like the acting?
It was fine. It was good.
Everyone was believable.
Everybody and everything was believable. And I've got to include everything because there is definitely a tonal shift in the movie. It's very bright. It takes place during the day. The camera work, everything was spot on, and
everything was crisp and beautiful.
Ari Aster. I guess I will try to say his name.
That's it.
All right, he did. I guess I would say he did everything that he wanted. I mean, I haven't read his personal reviews.
He did a great job.
But it's...
I mean, we are huge fans of Hereditary.
Right.
I was so excited when I first heard about this, and then everybody ruined it for me.
Right.
With their reviews.
Well, was it ruined?
But it was... Yes.
Oh, okay.
But after I saw it, then no.
Okay.
They ruined the excitement. I was like, oh my gosh,
They
the
ruined the
guy who
excitement
did
for you.
Hereditary,
Okay.
he's got another one.
Okay.
And I'd already heard how disturbing and dark and all that it was. And
Okay.
it's like, sounds great to me. Sign me up, because, man, I love his other one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was disappointed to hear that.
Moving forward, I would then say that I trust him enough
Yes.
to ignore
Yeah.
everybody's criticism
Yeah.
and just go see the next one.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would
Yeah.
have. I don't know how I would
I'm a
have felt
fan.
watching this with your sister in a arguably crowded theater or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's that. But but as far as just watching the movies or whatever,
Yes.
I
think
would trust it.
I think there was a whole lot of stuff in there. People who saw it as boring or too slow or not or didn't get it. I guess they probably weren't.
They weren't there. They weren't present.
And I don't want to say they weren't paying attention, but I mean, all of the there's just so many little clues and things to look at and things that people say, and you got to pick up on every little thing.
Yeah, it requires your participation.
Yeah, so you do totally have to be there.
Yeah,
you can't be on your phone. You can't have distractions.
Yeah,
you got to just focus, which is what you and I do. We focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So heck, check it out.
Check it out.
Don't
if
watch
it sounds
it with your
interesting.
children.
No, don't.
Yeah, it's rated R for good reason.
Yeah.
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 I didn't. It's very funny to hear this sister say that the gore was like, I see worth it. Because for me, it was the situation and the way the gore happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two gory things happen right there back to back. The first one, I was like, oh, that's gotta hurt. That just looked really horrible. Okay, the second one, oh, God, I couldn't. Oh, the second one got me. I was like, oh, my gosh. I think I'm in pain. So it was the situation that I didn't like. That's what bothered me.
Gotcha.
Not just the gore. Not just the special effects of the blood and gore laying there on the ground.
Right.
How it happened, I was not a fan of.
Okay, so before you go too far down that, it's very interesting, and I do appreciate your sister also saying that, because I heard what her criticisms or concerns were. Let me say, not criticisms, let's say concerns.
She's the one that brought it all up.
I know what her concerns were going into it.
Yeah.
And I heard her voice those opinions. So now for her to go, nah, that wasn't anything.
Yeah.
That's
See, and you can tell she was the one that got all of the, oh my God, it was horrible. She's the sister that warned us.
Yes.
So
don't listen to her anymore.
So that's why she was really like, what? Yeah.
All right. We've talked much about nothing at this point. So moving on, let's get into our garbage in, garbage out.
Especially if you like weird stuff.
Check
Definitely.
it out. For garbage in, garbage out,
yes,
we revisited, well, sort of, Jordan Peele's work.
Yes.
We watched Get Out.
Yes.
And as much as I liked it the first time,
yeah,
I liked it better the second time.
Yeah. Both these...
Now, having said that, because I did not watch Us, you watched Us again without me.
Yes, I did.
I don't appreciate that.
Hey, you left, so...
We are also entertaining. We had company.
I was going to say, we had an overnight guest that was dying to see it.
Yes.
So. But yes, both of those movies just get better with rewatching. Absolutely.
Yes.
Because knowing what that H is happening and rewatching it, it's like, oh,
yeah.
You see everything, and it's so great.
Yes.
It is so great.
Well, I'm looking forward to his third one or his next one or however many he does.
Yes.
So I think I need to go. We need to see his stuff on the Twilight Zone too, with him hosting the new Twilight Zones or whatever. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not sure what he had to do with, and if he had to do with writing in it or whatever. But anyhow, also we've completed or very nearly completed all of Fear the Walking Dead, the most recent season.
Yeah.
What were your feelings on that as a general, without any specific? We talked about liking it better the last time. We talked about, at least I did.
I have a really hard time coming up with a real solid opinion on it.
Okay. So I'm going to say a few things.
I'm going to keep watching it. Some of the characters I like. Some are just completely corny. Some of the writing is completely over the top corny.
For all of that, it doesn't have the intensity and the realism. We said this last time. It doesn't have the intensity and realism, arguably, I'm doing quotes,
right?
That Walking Dead does.
Yeah, but you can tell The Walking Dead, the writers changed a while back. You can see a difference.
And there too. So with this,
used to be so real and so raw and so just sitting there knowing that at any moment any character could just bite the big one.
I think that has to be a natural progression, though, of living in the world, because you're seldom, I would imagine, going to be surprised by a walker, or you should understand that there is always the potential for a walker. If you're living with this for years, you and you're still living.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about walkers.
Anyhow, so we're getting back to this really quick. So my feeling about this season, well, it's got corny and ridiculous and so on, and so I'm still enjoying it more than I have any of
the other seasons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I like everything that happened,
I need to
generally
see more
speaking.
I don't know about this new group they've introduced.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta see. I can't, it's too soon to make a...
Okay. Speaking specifically about this last season, but I did tell you, and I do stand by the fact that it feels abridged to me.
Yes.
At a point. That's always been a complaint with Walking Dead.
Right.
Is the fact that they'll jump things, like you'll get to the most penultimate climax or whatever, and then they'll jump 5 years ahead. Yeah. Sometimes they'll go back and pick up those strings later and tell you what happened. Sometimes they won't.
Yeah, they started doing that a couple years ago. Really doing that backward and forward and...
Yeah, that's too much for me.
Yeah.
You were telling me a fine story. Stick with it. You don't have to jump.
Yeah, it used to be linear. Yeah. Remember the early days of Walking Dead? So
with this one, with Fear...
Yeah.
This definitely felt a little fragmented.
Yeah.
We talked about the writing. We talked about this.
It's moving forward in a linear fashion, but it's just giant gaps.
It feels like it's rushing to a specific point, and maybe it is. Maybe they're trying to tie that in with maybe the third series that's coming out, or maybe the movies, or I don't know. But that's my minor complaint. But having said Third series, yeah, they're doing a third series. I think there's another spinoff.
Oh, you mean the third Walking Dead series?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
they are doing one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we've done over the last since we last recorded.
Yeah.
So for us, that's about it. But let's move on to our crawling chaos.
So you have one?
Well, I thought we'd talk about the invisibility cloak.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, we've seen so many attempts at invisibility.
Yes.
Besides the green screen stuff that I can do now, or or the stuff that
doesn't quite count.
That's not quite. But you know what I mean. There's other things where they do camera tricks and so on.
Yeah.
But a Canadian company has actually, and it's not complete invisibility. We're not there yet. We don't have our Predator. This actually is closer to the Predator suit.
Yeah.
As far as what you see.
Yeah, because it uses light. It bounces light and, what else?
In such a way, well, you know what? We'll just include the link so you can actually go see it, because we saw it on Coast to Coast. Saw it on the Coast to Coast webpage, though.
Yeah.
And it shows you how that it could be used for military applications. It could be used for just...
Yeah, that's what they're going to use it for.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. But it shows how, and it doesn't make you disappear entirely. You can see a blur behind there.
Yeah.
That's what made me
it
liken it to the. Yeah, it depends on where and the light source and a few other things.
But wow, it's quite amazing though. It's basically, it looks like a giant sheet of plastic.
Yeah.
And you can bend it.
To go around
the further
things.
you're away from it, the more invisible.
The more convincing it is, absolutely.
If your body's plastered up against it, I think we would see you.
Right, up to a point. But it also covers heat signatures and stuff too.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fascinating. I'll include that link in the show notes.
Sonar stuff and things I can't wrap my little tiny brain around.
Having said all that, I want to say again a huge thank you to our patrons at Lonely Bob, Big LV, and Goldafish. I want to encourage anyone to comment and subscribe. Join us on Facebook and
the group.
Join the group on Facebook. Absolutely, you can join the Facebook page, but definitely join the group. I think we killed it.
I think so.
Thanks for listening.